Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. Another fun edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. Today we have in studio a friend of the show and a friend of mine, Lauren Reshap. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Again.
I'm thrilled. Now, how did we get you back on the show? She makes the face cream that I use, if you're ever wondering why I look so extraordinary, because this lovely woman actually makes this for her clients. And you do a lot more than that, however. You've written a book called Vibrant Skin at Any Age, a 3-day program to restore your youthful glow. You're also working on another book called Food for Thought, because what we put in our bodies, you're saying very much has much to do with the health of our brains and our memory and whatever. Yes. So I want to talk about that. But you said to me, because I said, we drove here together. I said, Lauren, what's the number one thing? Give me a couple of takeaways. What should we be eating for our brain? And you paused for a moment and you said, well, the most important aspect is what's going on with your gut.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that. What did you mean by that? Well, you hear a lot about gut health, so break it down and make it simple.
Great. So in my first book, I wrote about the gut-skin connection. Mm-hmm. So now I'm really looking into the gut-brain connection, because there's actually 500 million neurons connecting from the gut to the brain up this central highway system called the vagus nerve. And what we feed our gut has everything to do how our brains are going to function, particularly as we, I know you don't like the word age, grow older.
As we continue in life.
Yeah, I like that better.
As we continue with our lives.
Much better.
Isn't that better?
Much
There's
better.
certain things I don't like aging well, aging gracefully. Give me a break.
Right, exactly.
You know, there's 15-year-olds that aren't aging very well themselves, you know, or mental health, mental illness. I feel like we should take away all the whatever. So as we go down the road in life.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly. So what we really need to focus on is what we're putting in our guts, because that's going to directly impact what's happening in our brains. So that's what's happening on the internal level. And then on the external level, there's a whole nother protocol for that. And so can I just point to what the plastic here?
Oh, please. That's why we have it here. Pick it up. We've got a plastic bottle.
Okay. So
which a lot of people still, I know you're not supposed to, are drinking their water and consuming drinks out of the plastic bottle.
Right. So aside from polluting our oceans, and in fact, most of our fish now found in the ocean is filled with microparticles of plastics. So even
and you know, these bottle tops are killer, not just the straws that people,
100%.
But these bottle tops, real killers. I mean, not just even little kids, right? They could pick it up and choke.
Absolutely.
The creatures in the sea are no different.
Yes, exactly. So, major hazard.
Yeah.
So what it does to us as human beings, it destroys our hormones. They're hormone disruptors. The BPA in this bottle actually changes the chemicals in your hormonal panels.
You're talking about the water, or you're talking about the plastic?
The plastic. And even though, so what happens in the plastic? When you have your bottle in the car, it's a lovely hot LA day. Let's say it's like one of those crazy summer days where it's like 85, 90, then you're driving to the valley and it's 110. What happens is the plastic begins to break down into what could potentially be, you know, a very dangerous substance to drink.
This is very important, people. You need to listen.
Yeah.
She's right. And then you're putting in toxic chemicals into you.
Absolutely.
You might not even feel it.
Absolutely.
Or you might not even see it. But you know those days where you just feel kind of, It could be from something like that you're not even thinking about. Now let's lift up your thermos there.
Right, exactly. So again, you know, I like to do everything that comes in a natural material and also something that can be washed. So you did bring up a point when we were talking today about kind of there's some bacteria that can form on that. I'd rather have that bacteria than this hormone disruptor.
Isn't that interesting? Because at least that's growing naturally, you're saying.
Exactly.
Love that. I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
But you can boil away anything, right? You can boil away your bacteria on there.
Absolutely.
And I know you, Lauren. You're looking to make sure that even the thermos that it's in is made from, you know, products that are
non-leaching.
That are non-leaching. That's what you say,
Right,
non-leaching.
exactly.
What does that mean, non-leaching?
Well, they're just the chemicals. They're not made of chemicals that are potentially harmful, that they don't break down or degrade with like high exposure to heat, that they're safe for the environment. And I am always looking at a product with regard to what it's, what it's made out of. What's that going to do to us in terms of our health? Is it going to disrupt our hormones? Is it going to make my kid sick? Is it going to create more toxins in my gut?
Are you going to live to 150 or 110?
You know what?
Because you're going there.
I know. Well,
if we sliced you open, you've got like perfection going on in there, because everything you put in your body, I know you're mindful, whether it's in your body or on your face, right?
Yes.
Or even yesterday, you were getting your hair done, and I saw the little post that you made, and you said, "Wow, look at my hair, and all natural products too."
Yes.
Even your hair.
Yeah, my hairdresser uses 0 ammonia. So people are always surprised to hear that that can actually lift color, but it's derived from coconut. So everything I make, right, from my protein bars, which you got to eat today.
We're going to go through all that to this.
And it's all made out of coconut that is not only organic, but sourced from ethical, sustainable farmers.
What does that mean?
That means that they're not using any practices that are harming the environment, that their product isn't heated with chemicals and treated with chemicals. We were talking last time, a coconut oil is not a coconut oil, or coconut's not a coconut. These are not sprayed. These are not treated with hexane. So all of those ingredients get into the product. Everything's porous. We're just like this living, breathing organism, as is everything on the planet. So it only stands to reason, if you're spraying things with pesticides and glyphosates and treating things with hexanes and chlorines and things like that, it's going to get into our bodies.
When you see someone who looks kind of bloated,
yeah.
Can you sort of, I'm sure you zip your mouth, but you probably think they're probably doing too much of blank. Do you do that?
Right. Yes,
I'm sure you do.
I have to really zip it. Yeah.
Right? Because I think someone like you can tell what they're putting in their body and that they shouldn't.
Yes.
That would actually be very funny if you walked up to people and said, because I know you go to the farmer's market every Sunday. Correct. I love what you post too on Lauren Living Healthy. And you actually go, because a vegetable is not a vegetable and a fruit is not a fruit, and you show us the difference. Right. So please check that out on your Instagram in particular. I love that.
Thank you.
But I often would wonder if you look at people and go, "Excuse me, sir, don't eat that." I mean, that would actually be very funny, Lauren.
Right. Well, what I can tell right away is if you have dark circles, that means the liver's not functioning well. If you have no, you're perfect.
Okay, but you're going here. Yes, I have that. Okay, so go ahead.
If you have excess girth around your midsection, that is adipose tissue.
What is that? What am I doing?
Well, adipose tissue is just really a function of inflammation. And that is caused by a couple of things: that the gut is not in great shape, that there's potentially a lot of sugar that's being consumed, right? And also,
I won't lie.
And also that runs a higher risk for certain disease states.
Such as
type 2 diabetes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Heart disease and brain disease. So I can talk a little bit about that when you're ready about the brain stuff.
I am ready. Okay. I'm really ready about that, and I need to hear about the gut, because it's so, for someone like you who lives this way,
yes,
it comes naturally. But for the rest of us, when sometimes it's tough and we just want to grab something,
sure,
you really, really have to change the way you live your life. And as much as I want to, sometimes I'll cheat and I'll buy something that's not it's not what I should be eating. And then I agree, it sticks in there, and then it's going right up to my brain. So
true. But I do have an 80-20 rule. I don't think you can be perfect 100% of the time. You have to live life you have to enjoy, because stress causes cortisol. Cortisol causes fat. So you don't want to have a stress component. So if you're at that party and everyone's eating pasta and having a good time and having a cocktail, you need to imbibe, you need to enjoy. So that's your 20%. So your 80% is, you're going to make that mindful decision, like, do I need that cookie, or would I rather have a cup of wild blueberries, which are full of antioxidants, which are going to protect my brain and create glowing skin.
Okay. Should it just be a cup of blueberries, or can you do a bowl? My thing is consumption.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I don't stop at the cup. If I have this much there, like from the farmer's market, you know how you buy 3 of them?
Yes.
I will eat the 3 of them. It's very hard for me to just go, nope.
I'd rather you eat the 3 of them.
Yeah, the 3 blueberries.
The 3 packages.
The 3 packs of blueberries.
Yes, I would rather you eat that, because the blueberries are incredible for brain health. Now, is it too much sugar? Well, blueberries happen to be very low on the glycemic index. meaning that they're kind of lower in sugar than the other berries.
What else?
All the
Tell me,
berries.
give me some others.
Blueberries, strawberries, boysenberries.
So you like your berries?
I do like my berries. I also like my cherries in the summer.
Oh, I love cherries. That's another thing. I'll buy them and the whole pack is gone because they're delicious.
Yes.
I need to parcel them out.
I know, they're so good. But the darker the vegetable or fruit, the more flavonoids, the more antioxidants and health, and the more that they will fight inflammation in your body. So
What are the three main absolute your kitchen must have this in your life to fight inflammation? I know you like turmeric.
I love turmeric, ginger.
Turmeric and ginger or
Yes.
turmeric ginger?
Turmeric and
Comma,
ginger.
okay.
And I have to say, I like fermented foods. I gave you a bunch of other ones in the car because I have a list of 15. But I'm trying to go for the three top. And fermented foods are things that have been like kombucha, probiotics, yogurt, if you can tolerate dairy. Because we're talking about the gut. We're going back to the gut. We're going
I
back
feel
down
blown
here.
up when I have kombucha.
Okay, then you need to take note of that. It may
Well,
not be
because
good for you.
it's almost like drinking soda for me.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes. So typically, if you do get that, you might have some small intestinal permeability. So when things get, yes, I know. She's like, oh my God, what is that? So
You can read my face. I'm thinking,
She's like,
good God, what is that? Do I ask?
Do I ask?
Please bring it on. I don't know what that is.
I know. So small intestinal inflammation is when things are not necessarily getting fully digested in the small intestine, and they're kind of seeping out into the bloodstream before they make it for digestion, further digestion, and elimination in the large intestine. Does that make sense? So you get like these particles that are floating around, and they're creating inflammation. So sometimes when you have those reactions, you don't touch those foods. So let me give you some other foods to try. So I still think that everyone should be taking a probiotic and a prebiotic. So prebiotics are things that bypass your small intestine, and they create good bacteria in your large intestine.
No, do you like it in a pill form or?
I like it any way you can get it.
Okay,
I'll give you the foods though too.
Okay, but I have to confess. So I was at CVS. You probably don't like buying stuff at CVS, and they have. I'm trying to do it.
I was just there in Indiana. I know,
I'm like trying. Okay,
Yeah.
and they have little probiotic gummies, and I thought, oh, Lauren will be so proud of me. But then
hysterical.
I thought about it, and I thought, well, it's probably a sugar in it. It's like a little gummy. Am I better off buying that probiotic or just nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
I knew.
Because
It. I knew you were going to say. I was so happy I did
Right.
something.
And let's go back. Let's look at the back of the label and how many additives there are in there and how many grams of sugar per 2 gummies. And if there's more than like past 7 grams, I would say it's more candy than a probiotic. So the sugar is going to eat up any of that.
Any of the good stuff is doing. You've
that's
got
gonna
like
feed
too
your
much
gut.
sugar, just overwhelming
Yes,
it. Yeah,
exactly. But good prebiotic foods, green bananas. It's kind of a weird thing.
Green, they're hard as anything. A
know.
green banana, you get hit it with a hammer. I mean,
It's true. But you know what? You throw it in a smoothie.
okay.
Right? And they create like a lovely texture, and they have relatively no sugar. And that prebiotic goes into your large intestine and begins to repopulate the good bacteria.
Why a green banana? Why not a brown or
Because they
yellow
have,
one?
once they start to ripen, what happens? They get super sugary, right? And not that that's bad for some people, but if you're dealing
Right, if you're
with
an athlete and you're a young athlete or
Thank
something.
you.
My son is an athlete and he eats bananas,
He
especially
needs that.
the ones. And I was an athlete, so I used to eat
you
them when I
need
was
them.
much
You
younger.
need them.
I
They're
needed
an
it.
incredible form of
I
potassium.
love bananas. I
do
have to
too.
tell
I
you.
love
But I'm
them.
okay. So in my smoothie, I know we're all over the place, but just keep up. We've got the green banana. What else are we putting in with the green banana?
Okay, I'm going to give you my favorite AM concoction. Are you ready for
Okay.
this? And once again, the thing to go back to the gut, because that's where we're starting from, right? It's good to have biodiversity and diverse diet. If I'm going to eat the same thing with the same ingredients day after day after day, I'm not going to get the biodiversity that I want. So let's say we're going to have this one 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay? So you're going to start with a foundation, which is going to be your water, your juice. If you're struggling with weight, I would
Water.
say go to water. I know that's
I'm not even a juice person,
okay.
so
But there's things like almond milk, coconut milk.
I love almond milk.
Me too.
Unsweetened almond milk.
Okay, well, why don't we try that? So let's say you're struggling to lose weight, not, it's saying that you are.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I told you I'd like to lose 5 pounds.
Right. So you're going to take 1 cup of water and 1 cup of almond milk. So you're going to split the difference, right? Rather than 2 cups of almond milk. That way you bring your glycemic index down, the sugars are down, the calories are down from there. Then to that, you're going to add a green banana. You can have a whole one because that, again, is your good prebiotic, which is going to repopulate that bacteria in your gut that's missing, okay? Then you're going to take your 1 serving of blueberries or raspberries or strawberries or blackberries.
Okay, I got
Okay.
you. The berry group.
The berry group. I like to freeze them. So I go to the farmer's market, the stuff that gets kind of soft and soggy, I throw in the freezer.
Isn't that interesting?
Because you want to create texture. I think when people overeat, they're craving texture, they're craving taste, flavor. So if you can feed
Or something to do.
or something to do, right? But if you can retrain the taste buds to kind of go for more of a savory, but something that has a nice viscosity, something that's a little thick and tastes like a milkshake, I think you're going to go for that.
Oh, there's no doubt. Okay, so we've got the berry.
Yeah, so
the green banana,
and so
half my
we need
almond
some
milk.
more. So we need some more fiber.
What about green? Yeah, I know you like kale. I like
do.
kale. I like kale. So I
like
can
it.
put kale in
Yay.
it.
And kale's
But a
an
whole piece of kale?
And kale's good for the brain and good for the gut. So you're going to chop up your kale. Just take a handful. Forget about measuring stuff. It's too laborious.
Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, can't
It's
do.
a miracle that I'm even going to make this thing.
Yes, throw a handful of kale in there. Okay. So what's missing? We need our healthy form of fat or fiber. So I like to combine the fat and fiber.
Peanut butter?
You could, but do you want to take it uber healthy? Why don't you take 2 tablespoons of flax seeds?
Oh, I love flax seeds too.
Yay,
I'm so excited.
so-
Where do I get my flax seeds?
and what
though?
are flax
All
seeds?
flax
Yes.
seeds are not created equal.
That's true.
This is where I go awry.
Yes.
In my
Yeah.
good thinking, and
There's-
I'll buy a bad flax seed.
There's so many good brands. I love Spectrum. They're wonderful.
Oh, I buy Spectrum.
Yeah, they have a great organic.
Easy to find.
You
I
know
just
what?
want something easy to find.
Forget the brand. Just
Yeah.
look for organic.
Okay.
When it
there
comes
we go.
to that, just look for organic.
Okay. That
Okay.
probiotic I bought at CVS with organic on it. I'm just letting you know.
Good. Take a picture and send it to me.
You know I will.
Yeah, I
when we
wanna
get
see-
when
I
we
wanna
leave
see
here,
that.
I will. And if in fact you drive home with me, I'll run
Yes.
in and get my
Yes.
probiotic
Perfect.
bottle. We
I
live around the
can't-
corner.
I know.
I've begged her to come to my home and just because I know you've done food for people
Yes,
too.
yes.
You clean out their closets. You are an all-purpose clean
Yeah,
eating person.
yeah.
From the pantry,
Yep.
to
From
the gut.
Yeah, from the pantry to the gut to, I'm now placing a lot of chefs in people's homes to actually execute these programs so you don't have to figure out what fat to use one day, how to make your diet more diverse, what to cook, how to reach
So
your
you
health
are
goals.
doing that.
Yeah, that's something
You've
that's
outsourced.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing everything yourself.
I have been doing everything myself, and I stopped doing everything myself since 2014 because I started getting autoimmune stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't do everything.
can't.
Even Lauren can't do
Yes,
everything.
none of us can. We're all susceptible.
Before I get off this,
Yes.
give me 1 or 2 other things that are a really great, or 3 or 4,
Yes.
for the brain that are easy. I like when stuff is easy.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Smash.
Does that sound easy? What is Smash? Okay, Lauren, what's Smash?
Okay, so Smash is DHA. DHA comes from cold fatty fish. So DHEA is, I know, but I actually also have a vegetarian version with this company I'm working with called Nourish.
Okay.
Fantastic. So Smash is your salmon, mackerel, your anchovies, which I don't like. But
I'm not going anchovies. I'll do the salmon.
will you do herring or sardines?
Nope. I'll
No?
do the salmon.
Okay, there we go. 1 out of 4 in fat.
I got one. You know, a lot of
Yes, I
people
mean,
don't do fish, especially the funny
I know.
kind of
So
fish.
there's again, there is a company that I'll tell you more about. If we can put them on because I think they're Nourish. I should know because I've been working with them, but they're doing a vegetarian version. Made out of algae, because
Algae.
Yes, because we need to feed our brains. Our brains are fat. If we're not giving our brains fat, we're not nourishing our brains. Does that make sense?
Of course it does. You know, and I asked you this, I think, as we were driving over here. Is it more, are we more susceptible today than we were hundreds of years ago, perhaps, when we were just sort of, getting our food off the field and killing
Yes.
fresh for your
Yes.
animal, for beef or,
Right.
Meats? Yes?
Oh,
we are
gosh.
more susceptible
We're much
today,
more
aren't we?
susceptible, 100%. Because we're not eating from the same soil. There's glyphosates that have been sprayed by Monsanto. Sorry, I had to just put that out there. And the genetically modified foods in that industry is
That scares me.
It's very
That
scary
scares
to
me. And then the pharmaceutical companies are making extra money because whatever is wrong with you, whether it's the diabetes
Oh,
or
God,
whatever,
don't get me started.
heart problems, no problem. There's a pill for that too.
Right.
So you've got the businesses making all of this,
Right.
processed foods, and then there's a pill you can pop to sort of help with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they've really got us over a barrel.
Right. So it is imperative that we eat organic whenever we can.
Yeah. And all markets have organic, correct?
Everyone has it. Everyone
Or
has it.
is it that not all organic is created equal?
Well, we talked a little bit about this last time because it's not.
Yeah.
Because just because something is labeled organic doesn't mean it's completely organic, particularly what you buy at the store. But what you're buying at the farmer's market, if it is labeled and if they are certified to be organic, they pay for that. It's a tremendous amount of due diligence and inspection. That is organic food. However, there's one step above organic, which is called sustainable and biodynamic farming, meaning that they're not bringing in food to feed the animals. They're not bringing in vegetarian.
That is so important. I've been reading about that lately. All of it grows and it comes from the farm.
Yes, and that's like Uber. That's the Uber of health.
Well,
yes.
why
so
not?
those when I go to
that just
yeah.
makes sense to me. I mean, farmers back in the day
Yes.
were not going to another state to get food sent in for their animals and
No.
crops. It
Right.
just makes sense. You know, it's funny. I spoke to a woman who talks about cleaning out your life and closets and whatever. And I'm about to have on the woman who her entire family in 1 year, could fill up one of those jars, like a ball jar, or whatever, with all the garbage that they consume, because everything they do, I mean everything, they put either back into the ground, recycle somehow. Could you imagine in 1 year for
Amazing.
one family?
Yeah.
I have to figure out how she does this.
Yeah.
But it's the same with your crops. You know, whatever you're using, regurgitate and put it back
Absolutely.
in. Wow, I love this. That's
Yeah,
great.
you know, when I do my farmers market tours, everybody leaves with a little bit of herbs. And they start their own little herb garden. I don't care if it's a pot this big on a windowsill. That's all you need. Because all of those herbs, from the oregano, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral. Rosemary, antiviral. Mint, digestion. Basil for depression. I mean, like all these herbs found in nature, that's our medicine.
I was going to say, there's
That's
a
our
reason why it's in nature, that
Yeah.
it's here. I was just talking to my previous guest about a certain kind of therapy to help combat certain bacterias. And it's all out there in nature to
Absolutely.
be found and dealt with.
It
Now,
is.
okay, so you talked to me about the smoothie. Give me just one or two others. I know you like onion and garlic.
Yes.
Is there something just easy to grab for
Right.
someone? What else? Good
Right.
for the brain health.
for the
What
brain.
else? Let's say, especially for people over a certain age, because hormonally we're changing. That's men and women.
Yes.
What do you suggest?
Well, with regard to brain health, we've got to get after it well before it happens.
Yeah.
So there's a 10-year curve that they're talking about. There's this brilliant book called The End of Alzheimer's by Dr. Dale Bredesen. And when I heard him speak, that light bulb went off in my head as we're discussing. And I said, I was going to write the second edition of this book, Vibrant Skin at Any Age, Volume 2. But I kept thinking, like, where are we all moving toward? I mean, you know, as we empty nest, as we have time now to take care of ourselves. So let's start now. Let's start well before this happens. So I started just telling my clients, let's talk about brain foods. Let's talk about ways that we can get at the brain through the gut. So again, I'm not looking at external things. I'm not looking, let's take the pill. Let's see what we can do to repopulate.
To flush out the gut. Oh,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on colonics?
Yeah.
I was at a,
Yeah.
this is the,
Yeah.
I was at the funniest dinner party, Tammy and Russell, thank you. Oh my gosh. And everyone, I've never done it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never done colonics.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it and they were getting very specific with what they were turning and looking at. And I thought,
Yes.
I don't think I want to know. But it seemed like it flushed out all kinds of stuff that
Oh,
was
yeah.
sitting in their intestines for
yeah.
decades.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
Well, the preface of that first book talks about my original addiction to some of these very Spartan spas, like We Care and Optimum Health Institute and Lemon Grove. And the protocol is taking your body down to a completely vegan diet and actually raw and very, very minimal food. And then the colonics come into play every single day. And I have to say,
Every day.
Every day.
Thoughts?
It was a week. Yes, I've done that program many times, not in the last 10 years. I am a fan of colonics done a certain way, and that might get too specific because a lot of them, should I tell you, they actually stretch out your intestinal tract, and you can get
That's
something.
what would scare me, or that they would puncture something.
Yes, right. So I'm a little. There's a couple. Again, like everything you do is about sourcing, right?
Yeah.
So there's a practitioner in New York that I like, that has a
Wow.
different method, and there was someone here, but I don't know what happened to them. But I've actually had a bad incident with it, which I won't discuss. But
Were
I
you
can be a
punctured?
fan.
Because that can happen.
No, it created a lot of health issues for me in terms of
Right, because what if...
peristaltic. I lost all my peristalsis.
Oh, I'm just not sure that's a natural thing to do.
Yeah,
Maybe we can do it with the foods to clean out, as you suggest.
Yes, and I think that there is a place for it within a detox program that's carefully monitored by a licensed, certified nutritionist.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking about the brain through the gut.
Yes, yes.
Everything through the gut, including how you look on, how your face looks, wellness. I just have to mention that you were kind enough to make this for me. You hand make, what do you call this? Face cream, body cream?
It's head to toe.
Head to toe. I'm telling you, I live by it, and she can attest to this. I called her up and I said, I need more cream, remember? And what you said to me was incredibly interesting, and it really tells a lot about how you do your business. You said, well, I'm waiting for a certain kind of coconut oil, and it comes from Thailand. And I thought, geez. And you so live this way, where you won't even make a product until you get the exact type of coconut oil from the particular source that you find to be completely natural, organic, and more, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
And there's only, again, when I read labels on the back, because we also do a lot of, makeup bag makeovers, which I call them.
Oh.
So when we started just doing the kitchens, I have a couple of assistants. The kitchen started to bleed over into the rest of the home. And then we've discovered everything from toxic mold in people's homes to so many chemicals people are ingesting through the pores of their skin, because our skin is the largest organ of absorption. And they're using stuff with like 1 million different chemicals in it, which all that affects our brain. That goes into the gut. And remember that neural pathway that goes up to the brain. It starts to seep into the brain, and it crosses over the blood-brain barrier, and it creates this early onset memory stuff.
There's no coincidence as to why there's more of this now than when our own grandparents were with us. They didn't have that. They just sort of grew old gracefully, and I had grandparents who grew into old age gracefully, as many people did. But now it's dementia and Alzheimer's, where you're literally getting the holes in your brain. Let's talk about some of the food and bars that you make.
Yes.
We argued about this bar in the car. You wouldn't believe what was going on in that car on the way here.
And we almost got into a fist fight.
We did, over her collagen bars. Okay.
Yeah.
This one's mine. You made 2 of them. I thought they were both for me. I said, where's my other one?
I made you 2, and I made myself 2. That's my breakfast.
She's so sweet. But I'm being silly.
Yeah, I know you are.
What's in this? First of all, it's delicious.
Yeah,
what's in
they're
it?
the
But
best
collagen,
bars.
I suddenly feel like I'm going to look younger by eating this.
So the best compliment I ever received on these bars was from my dear, dear friend Lizanne Falsetto, who is the brainchild behind the Think Thin bar. And she tasted my bar. She's like, oh, my God, this is like one of the best bars I've ever had.
Wait, I think she's coming on my show. What happened?
Is she? Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
You need to have her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So this bar, again, was born out of the fact that I hate protein bars. And I used to work with I'm good. I already had to. I used to work with the guy that wrote the Zone diet and sell the Zone bars until I realized that all this stuff is junk. It's all processed,
very processed
very
stuff.
adulterated
Pressed.
foods. Disgusting. And I like real food. I think that you have to make, that's
It
what
tastes better too.
Yeah. And what I tell when I put the chefs into these homes, because I train chefs that have gone to culinary school, and I kind of hack what they've been doing. Cook with these fats instead. These other fats are toxic. How to make a bar from scratch. How to make some of these kind of superfoods that are going to feed these clients' brains, so we can kind of get them back on track. So with this bar, I really want to launch it, but I can't sacrifice the nutrients that I put in and the quality of them.
Right, and what you're saying is
so
you might have to
everything-
mass produce it, and that's hard to do without sacrificing
So
something.
Quickly, and there's 7 grams of collagen in every bar, and a bar is a complete. You have it a snack size, by the way. A bar is a complete meal replacement.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it has only 325 calories. It has 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. So you're kind of getting your brain food in one little bump. And
Can people order them from you? Can you do it that way? Because, I mean,
yes.
there's so many companies that are doing that now. You don't have to mass
know.
produce and be in every single,
Yes.
grocery
Yeah.
store. Instead,
Yeah.
just maybe remain
Yes.
small, but sustainable at
Yes.
least.
We were putting out 150 bars a week a
How
couple
much
years
is a
ago. Their full meal replacement is $10.
Okay, it's a full meal replacement.
It's a
You
full
can't
meal.
go.
And people are like, oh my God, I'm not spending 10. I'm like, okay, then don't buy it, but how much do you spend on a bad meal?
Yeah.
So, right? So,
Yes, let's talk about meals for a minute. Let's say someone needs to grab something on the go. What do you suggest? Sometimes I'll go to Whole Foods, and a lot of people aren't crazy about going there, but I do.
Yeah,
and they
that's
have
okay.
a prepared meal with salmon in it and some
Okay.
greens. What about that? There's places like True Food.
Right. And Air One just opened in the Palisades. And
Really?
yeah.
I mean, do you endorse those? Like, do you
Why
say?
not?
Okay.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the thing is that if you have a specific health issue you're working on and you can't have any gluten, or you can't have dairy, you can't have MSG, a lot of the pre-prepared foods have the MSG and some of the bad oils in them at Whole Foods. Like if you look at some of their oils behind the
Let's talk oils. You said no
Yes,
canola.
no canola.
You just, you're done.
You're done.
What's the
Yeah.
other one? You gave me another one.
I don't use any pressed vegetable juice, cold pressed vegetable juice oil.
See, people think they're doing themselves a favor.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, it's vegetable juice.
Yes.
But it's not. What
Yeah.
is it when people are using like vegetable oil? You know?
Yeah, no, it's full of the inflammatory fats. So when we're talking again about brain health, we have to change the balance of omega-3s to omega-6s. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, omega-6s are inflammatory. You need both of them, but you need the ratios to be about 3-to-1. So if you're eating those bad fats, and people cook with them all the time, they're always cooking with grapeseed oil, sunflower oil.
So what's the number one you should cook with?
I cook, these are my oils.
Yeah.
I cook with coconut oil, ghee, I use butter. And my new favorite is avocado oil.
Oh, let's talk about, because we don't
Yes.
have a ton of time
Yes.
here. Avocado oil.
Which, by the way, my raw avocado oil is in here.
Here, lift
That's
it up. I
been-
can't quite see it. There you
Oh.
go.
Yeah,
Avocado.
so there's avocado
There's
in here.
give me that.
Yes.
There's avocado oil in
Yes,
my
and vitamin E and coconut. Those are I shouldn't give away my formula. but
Wow,
it's
avocados are the big food
the
suddenly.
big
Avocado
food,
toast,
yes.
avocado anything.
avocado, yes.
But it's really good.
It's so healthy.
So you love the avocado.
because it's a monounsaturated fat, and it's a great, great food for the brain.
Okay, because I love that too.
Me too.
I will eat it as a snack. I'll just cut it in half.
Me too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What do you do with the center?
Well, I just throw it in my composter.
Really?
Yeah.
Because people said there's so much in there that
Yeah.
you could do with,
Yeah.
and I thought,
Too much work.
too much work for
I
you.
already
Okay,
do
so you
enough.
need it easy
Yes.
too. Okay.
I do it so much. And that's,
All right.
That's I think
I want to make sure
A
we go
little
through
too hard,
some of
yes.
our little bullet
Yes,
points that we
yes,
talked about. I also
absolutely.
want to discuss, you do a lot with corporate wellness. So
Mm-hmm.
you talk to people about how, getting their employees healthier and
Yes.
keeping them healthy.
Yeah.
And you do body and you do mind.
Yes.
And in the mind, you talk about calm under pressure, meditate for success, meditation 101.
Yes.
We did this a little bit last time, and you really gave me some peace. And what was that, just a minute? 30 seconds? What was
I
it?
think it was a minute. We did the 4-7-8 breath, which is immediate distressor.
And do you do that with a group of people, and they're
Well,
like, wow.
I did it right before I came.
I know,
into
you
this-
fell asleep.
I fell asleep.
I had my first guest in here. I went out. I said, "Laura, we're ready." It's like, what?
know, I thought, okay.
You knocked yourself out.
I did. I knocked myself out.
Wow.
I sometimes do that. Yeah, I sometimes do that.
But do you see how if we just put all of this in harmony, the body, the food for the gut, which is good for the brain,
Yes.
and also for your eyes, you'll see, right? You'll see clearer. Your skin is
Yes.
better.
Yes, absolutely.
And so meditation, if people say, I don't have the time,
yeah.
you could do it in 30 seconds, can't
Yes.
you?
So I went into an ad agency, which I love doing. So this is kind of the kickoff of the Corporate Wellness Series. We put together a whole program. When I say it's really me, I do have, an assistant that helps me, but it's really me. And I tackled like a bunch of subject matter. And so first we talked about nutrition, but a lot of companies now really want to have a corporate environment that's whole, where their employees who are under stress can have some kind of a tool so they can kind of leave their little cubicle, take a meditation break, I call it a mindful minute break, and just kind of regroup and then come back and kind of tackle whatever they need to tackle. It doesn't take the traditional. I was trained in transcendental meditation, which is a 20-minute morning and a 20-minute evening. That's a lot. That's a big commitment. But can
So
you still
what's your minimum meditation that you tell people
Yes.
that they can do in the office?
1-minute breath work?
And you can even do it at your desk.
Yeah, it's really just about, again, what happens when we're in a work mode, we're releasing cortisol into the body.
Yeah.
And we're in fight or flight. We're creating all sorts of chemicals that our brains don't like.
What are we doing to ourselves?
Yes.
We've developed this system. Something just doesn't feel quite natural
know.
about it. You get in your little car or big car. You're on your way to work. You park your car. You go upstairs. You're working in this environment for 8 hours, 10 hours, 6
Right.
hours, and you're fighting traffic to get
Right.
home. It actually does not feel natural to me. And I happen to like cities.
Yeah.
But I'm way more of an outdoor person. And I also think people need to do, they've got to get outdoors more. I just read a study yesterday, which I've been talking about this for 10 years. Get outside. So do you talk about people getting outside?
Yes, yes. My favorite thing is to earth.
To earth.
Earth.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, earthing. So earthing is actually, it's a tradition. It's actually a science. That when you put your feet in an element, an earth element, water, sand,
Feels good, too.
grass, it feels great. But okay, try this, because your knee bothers you, right? Mm-hmm. So go to the beach or go to grass that hasn't been sprayed and all sorts of junk, and just stand in it, walk around in it, and see what your pain level is. So you measure your pain before, and then after you do like a 10, 15-minute earthing session.
I'm big with this stuff, though.
Yeah.
I always go outside for
Yeah.
anything that's ailing me, my knee or
Yes.
my head.
Right?
I'm big on
Huge.
that.
I'm big
in
on it, too.
Japan, they have the tree therapy.
Yes, I love that.
If you're
Amazing.
ailing, you literally go out and among the trees, the bamboo.
Yes.
It's actually very therapeutic
Yes,
and
it's
wonderful.
so therapeutic. I love that. I
I
think it's
hope
so powerful.
because this is how you live your life,
Mm-hmm.
and this is, you breathe this. You probably dream about it. I hope all of this will be incorporated into your book.
It is, yes. I'm also going to have a bunch of recipes for brain health.
Yeah.
A bunch of snack foods to carry around with you throughout the day to refuel your brain.
That you can make, order, or buy.
Yes.
Right? And I say order
Yes.
because
Yeah.
really, I don't endorse things loosely. I know everybody knows I'm a straight shooter, and I don't. But I would endorse anything you'd make.
Oh, thank you so
your
much.
products, because you put so much thought into them, as you said. It's hardly sustainable for you because you put so much into
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Right? So snack food that you can buy easily too.
Buy or make, yep. We'll probably have it for sale if I can get another couple people on board. So my plan is to gear up a little bit in the fall, but I'm a bit of a control freak.
That's a good thing.
Because
That's a good thing.
When I had somebody making these bars, I didn't like them. I don't know what it is, if it's the way I mix it. You just have your own...
Your own hand, as my mother would
Yeah.
say. She was a phenomenal Italian
Yeah,
cook.
oh my God.
And she could try all day to teach me something.
Yeah.
As she would say, Deborah, it's not the same
It's
hand.
not the same hand.
It's
It's
her hand with
true.
the same recipe.
Yes, it's so
fortunately, my
true.
middle son took over where she left
Yeah,
off, so that's a good
excuse me.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not the same hand.
Yeah, it's not the same hand.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And also, like, I reverse engineer things, meaning that...
I like that.
So what I try to do with all the meals, okay, so you're telling me that here's my goal. I'm trying to lose 5 pounds. I've got joint pain. All right,
I want to degut.
Yes, I want to degut. So, like, what I start with is what your biggest issue is and what foods will help repair that. So if you're telling me you need to re-gut, I would put foods in that recipe that help you clear out the gut.
And you do lots of consultations with people, right?
yeah,
You're still doing it. 'Cause I
Yes.
know you get so busy.
Yeah,
You
I
do it
still-
by phone or if they're close enough, you'd come to the house, right?
Close enough, come to the house. I have a lot of people all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So that's nice. So I'm able to kind of go a little bit larger and reach more people, which I'd love to do. I think it's,
You know what I'd love to see you incorporate also? Anxiety. I think the foods that we are eating are also giving us anxiety.
Yeah,
I really
interesting,
do,
yeah.
Because I think it goes into the gut, and as you say, it goes into the brain. What's in the brain? A lot of our chemicals.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think that has a lot to do with.
That's so interesting that you say that, because some of the brain research has been on this short chain fatty acid called butyrate that actually has been shown to alleviate anxiety and depression.
Butyrate.
Butyrate. So
What is it?
well, butyrate is found in onions and garlic and potato.
You like? Wait, which potato?
Just like so it's the way the potato is made. It's a short chain fatty acid again. You take a potato.
Regular white potato, because
Whatever.
there's sweet potatoes.
I know, just a white.
Okay.
Boil them, throw them in the refridge, right? They got to be cold.
Oh.
And you can put olive oil on it, rosemary, salt. Eat a half a cup of that. That is a butyrate. That is a short chain fatty acid. that acts like a prebiotic that goes to the gut, and prebiotics have been shown to help alleviate anxiety.
Wow.
So there's some food is medicine. It's Dr.
For
Hyman,
your head and your soul.
Yeah, Dr. Hyman calls it he's got a show called The Food Pharmacy, FARM, which is so cute. I wish I would have coined that.
We're out of time, but very quickly,
Yes.
for people who want to, I hate this, but lose 5 pounds quick.
Okay.
They have to get bikini ready or,
Okay.
that, whatever, red carpet ready. What would you suggest?
Intermittent fasting.
Intermittent
fasting.
How many hours?
I would do 12.
So 12.
It's not
Okay, 12
not
is
crazy.
not crazy.
Not
Some
crazy.
people say, no. 12's not enough. You must do 16. And that's where I get lost. I'm like, I can't go 16.
So this is how it goes. If you have, for women, it's everyone's individual. But so if you're a woman that has hormonal issues or thyroid issues, you should not go more than 12 hours. Okay? 1. If you have the APO4 gene, which can show dementia and Alzheimer's, then 14 to 16. But if you're just trying to lose some weight, I would start with 12. If you wanted to go to 13, no more than 14 if you're a woman.
Interesting.
You
can do it, and you could drink water and
so
tea.
easy.
Or,
you're sleeping for sleep is so important, as we know, right?
Yeah.
How many
you're
hours
sleeping,
do you sleep?
Not enough.
I know, me neither.
I just don't.
Sleeping is the number one number one rejuvenator.
I know. We have to do that.
We have to.
I
That's the hardest
actually
thing.
lately have been trying and saying, okay, it's 11. Go to bed.
Yes,
And
I know.
my husband's very good at that. He'll make sure that he gets his 8 hours. And
yes.
I
Well,
fight
good
it.
for him.
This is ridiculous. I fight it because I have things to do and I actually
Yeah.
want to be up.
I know.
But
You don't
no,
want to
no,
miss
no.
a thing. I know you. You don't want to
No,
miss a
but
thing.
you're like that too,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you know that you need to get
I
your
know.
8.
Yes.
But I
I
enjoy
try.
the time I'm awake, but
Yeah.
I have to get my sleep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, very interesting. So the potato, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go and do that tonight.
Yes. Those are just things that you probably don't know about. Some little.
But they're easy.
Yeah.
But this is why you
Yeah.
have to get her book,
Yeah.
Vibrant Skin at Any Age. You have to go on her website, right? Your
Yes.
website is Lauren
Living Healthy.
Living Healthy.
And my Instagram, I've started to do a lot of videos now.
Oh, I love them, especially the ones where you're at the farmer's market.
And it's just Lauren Rashup is my handle. And then next week, our YouTube channel launches.
Ooh, and that's your name also,
Yes, it's Lauren Rashup at Lauren Living Healthy. I think that's how they're doing it.
Lauren Living Healthy. Yeah, it's like same with me. My
Yes.
YouTube is my show, Deborah
Yes.
Kobylt Live. And on that note, we're actually going to have to leave. So you gave us a lot of really good advice
good.
about the gut.
Yes.
Being careful on what probiotics you purchase, and if not, at all costs, try and put it in there that's healthy.
Yes.
I love the smoothie idea. I really think that's terrific. You've done a lot, but also a lot of food for thought, which is your new book. I love that title, easy to
good.
remember.
I'm so glad.
No, I love it. It's
Good.
easy to remember, and for me, things need to be easy to remember because I'm forgetting things.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
thank you so much. When do you
Thank
think
for
you'll have that
having
out?
me. Well, it's not going to be until next April.
That's okay because you're working on
Yes.
it. It really, you do so much research. That's
Yeah.
terrific. Food
Yes.
for thought. Meanwhile, please, people can call you. They can email
Yes,
you. You can do a
please.
consultation with
Please.
them. And I know you don't make a lot of these, but
Special order, I do for special order.
special order. I highly recommend and endorse this. I love it.
you.
And the collagen bars.
Thank
wow.
you.
Thank you for being
Perfect.
here,
Thank you
Lauren.
so much.
And thank you, everybody, for being here for another great edition of Deborah Kobylt Live. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook. This was just recorded live on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for those who just listen to their podcasts, Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, Spreaker. I think we're just about everywhere.
Okay.
So I appreciate you all helping us grow. I really do. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.